Good evening. I'd like to call the Northwood Board of Selectmen meeting to order on September 26, 2017. It was supposed to be at 5:30. It's now 10 minutes to 6.
Donald Huston, aye.
Aye. Rick Wolf. I apologize for being late.
Do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right.
All right. I don't, is there?
Anybody
Mr.
here for
Toby's in the back.
Is anybody here for Citizens Forum?
Citizen Forum. Mr. Toby, you had any comments? No?
No, sir, I did not.
Move right on.
Alrighty, we're gonna move on to public hearing.
We have Hoyle and Tanner for the engineers. They were here for the 5:30
All
appointment.
right, let's take care of them first, since the public hearing can wait. That's fine.
Yeah, that can be put off.
We'll do the appointments
All right,
first.
come to the table, please.
Sorry, guys.
No worries. No worries. Usually we're like at the last thing on the agenda, so you never know what time it's going to be. So this is great to be.
This is a plus, huh?
I completely spaced it until I looked at my
I
agenda
did too.
earlier. I was like, oh yeah, that's right, 5:30.
We really appreciate being here. We have just a
Thank you.
little handout, so you don't have to remember our names and what we're talking about and who we are and all that. And if you'd like, we had maybe about 10 minutes. We were just going to talk about the project
Sure.
and then really want to get your input and answer any questions you have about it. So.
We're not going to rush it. Take your
Okay.
time.
Sounds good. All right, so quick introductions. My name's Sean James, and we're with Hoyle Tanner Associates. With me tonight is Joseph Beecha, and I'm a vice president with the firm. I've been with the company 21 years. Joseph's been with the company 14 years. And so we have the introductions there. We have a lot of experience in the municipal bridge aid program. That's, I think, why we're here tonight. Joseph and I have done both around 60 projects. Some of those are current, most of them in the past, and they're all with Hoyle Tanner. So what we thought, we'd just go over a little bit about our company, the bridge aid process, have Joseph talk about the project a little bit in detail, and then talk about construction. So our company, we've been in business since 1973. We're a New Hampshire-based small firm. We have offices in Manchester, which is where we're out of, as well as Portsmouth. So we have bridge staff in both offices. Our team, wanted to recognize a couple people. So we're with the bridge group. We have a dedicated bridge group, as well as a transportation or highway group in the Manchester office. We also have an environmental permitting group, which is going to be a big part of this or any project you're doing that needs wetlands permits. So we have that all in-house, staff that are dedicated to that. Also working on our team, and some of this is all in the proposal. It's been a couple months so we submitted it. It was July 10th, so it's probably been a little bit since you looked at it, so I just want to go over some of the highlights. But we do also have DoSet Survey. They're out of Newmarket. They're on our team as well to do survey. We've teamed with them on 14 different projects through this program. And then SW Cole to do the soil borings for it. And we've worked with them on somewhere over 40 projects, either soil borings or testing. So that's a little bit about us. And I want to talk about the bridge aid program. So it's state aid bridge. And the real benefit to it is it's an 80% reimbursement from the state and 20% from the town. And as we put here, we know the program. If you look at the back, this is the bridge experience we've done through this program. And one thing just to point out is we've listed where there's multiple projects. So a lot of these towns, we've done 6, 7 projects. So a lot of our business comes from repeat clients. You know, we do a good job and continue on in the projects. So, and pretty diverse throughout the state, North Country out west, Seacoast, all throughout, and kind of in some of the surrounding towns as well. So the program's a good one. If you're not too familiar with it, it's simple. There's 3 steps, really. You start with an engineering study. We brought some samples if you're interested in looking at them, but, sorry, slide across. That's one from Bedford, and we just recently completed. And what that does is it looks at all the different options. It kind of gets everything out of the way. You do boring, see what you have for subsurface conditions. You look at the hydraulics, historic, there's a lot to it. And then you narrow it down to a couple of alternatives. And that's what the end product looks like. Along the way, New Hampshire DOT reviews and approves everything we're going to talk about tonight. So we send in the study, they review and approve it, move you on to the next step. Once you've finished the study, you come up with, there's preliminary plans. So this is a project over in Barrington. Do those with an estimate, again, review and approve, then final plans where we add, small little spec book for the contractor. And then at that point, you get your reimbursement for the engineering phase on the design phase. So up until that point, you're funding your 80% or your 20% plus the state's 80%. Then the next part, which is the fun part, I think, is we get into the construction phase. What's nice about the program is they'll give you half of their 80% right up front. So when you award the project to a contractor, they're going to send you a check for 40% of the project cost.
New messages.
I was afraid that was going to happen.
They always do that.
Oh, it's all right. It's those antique phones.
It's on silence. I don't know what did that. But.
So anyway, that's something to consider, and we know you have a dedicated fund for this and raise some money as well, but it's important to know that, it's kind of a cash flow as you go through the project.
Yep.
So that's a little bit about us and the project, and Joseph's going to talk a little bit more in detail about, your specific project.
Right. Yeah, so enough about us and the program. So we just wanted to give you some of our thoughts that we have on the project. So why are you guys doing the bridge? The bridge is in bad condition.
Yes.
It's almost 80 years old. It's seen better days. So it's near the end of the useful life. When it was originally designed, it wasn't designed to last this long. So you're actually lucky that you made it this far. It's been on the New Hampshire DOT red list for 7 years. And more recently, last year, it was even downgraded even further to a lower rating from New Hampshire DOT because the condition is not getting any better. It's just getting worse every year when they go to inspect it. So we expect the condition just to continue to deteriorate, and then in the near future, you probably need to replace the structure very soon in the near future. So on the proposal, we had different options that we proposed to you. I think based on our experience and based on some of the homework that we've done on the project, we think that the project will be replaced with a 3-sided rigid frame. And I'll show you some photos in a few minutes, and also have a time-lapse movie on the tablet here, so you could see what we're talking about, how the bridge is going to look like. So far, we've done some homework. We've looked at the waterway opening of the new bridge. We've looked at the 50-year flood event, the 100-year flood event, and we determined those flows to give you an idea what kind of a span range you're looking at for the replacement structure. And we've determined that the structure span will be anywhere between 16 to 24 feet, somewhere on that range. So there's a few reasons why it's so much larger. Is that the first one is New Hampshire DOT requires 1 foot of freeboard above the 50-year flood event. And then we also, to meet all the New Hampshire DES regulations. So with those span ranges that I just mentioned, we should be able to make most of them work. We've done a lot of projects over the years. We know the people at DES. We have excellent working relationship with them. We know their preferences and what they're looking for. So we have a good working relationship with them. So the actual design of the bridge itself is very easy for us. That's the most easy part. The most complicated part for the type of project that you have is, in our opinion, is the traffic control. No local resident is going to call you to complain about how the rail looks or how the bridge looks. They're going to complain if they can't get home or if they can't get to work in time, if you're going to delay them. So that being said, we understand that on the previous minutes that we've reviewed, there have been some people that come forward to the town, more specifically last year, so they had some concern. So there's just something that you need to be aware and consider depending on which option you select for traffic control. So the most cost-effective way to replace it is to close it to all traffic, and then you do a off-site detour. You either do it on the east side of the project location, you do it around the lake, which is about 11 to 12 miles, or you do it on the west side, which is very similar. It's about 12 miles too. So either one of those options, you're going to get some resistance from the local residents. They're going to call, they're going to complain why the detour is so long. But the advantage of that is that it keeps the cost down. And that's how the DOT has done the cost for you. The cost that they've given you, the $555,000, we reviewed their file, and they are assuming that you're going to do a bridge closure. If you do anything different, it's going to cost a little bit more, and then we can work with you to convince New Hampshire DOT why you should do something different. We're here to guide you along the way. You make all the decisions. So we give you all the information, the recommendations that you need, and then you make an informed decision moving forward. So the other option with the detour is to detour it on Bennett Bridge Road. I've driven the detour. It's not a great condition. There's a lot of issues with that, so it's going to take some cost to upgrade it, especially one of the curves coming down into the beach area there. That's very steep, and it's a sharp curve, so it's going to need some work if the town selects that option, and it's going to be some additional cost to repair and upgrade it to make it safe for vehicles to use it. School buses, I don't think the school buses will be able to use it. So if you go with that option, you're probably just looking for vehicular traffic. So that's one option. Another option is to do phase construction, and what I mean by phase construction, I'll pass around this handout. So the photo on the top, it's a project on town of Peterborough, and I was the project manager. We just completed that project. And you basically
do half one day, half one time, and half the next.
So you do half of the bridge, you maintain traffic on the other half, and then you shift it. So you do everything twice. You add a lot of time on the construction. You add a cost anywhere between 25 to 40%. That's the range that we've typically seen, depending on site conditions and other factors. It's going to be somewhere in there. And then the third option, the photo down below, it's a project that I was the project manager. It was completed last year in town of Eaton, Roberts Road. So you build a temporary bridge, either upstream or downstream. On your site, it makes sense to do it on the downstream side, but you actually have the utility pole, so you have to do some relocation, at least one pole, relocate it, do the temporary bridge, maintain traffic, one lane alternating traffic on the existing bridge, remove some of the existing bridge, get the temporary bridge, and then you finish the actual bridge, the new bridge, in one shot. Again, there is more cost. The advantage of this is that you maintain the traffic, but the disadvantage is that it will be additional cost and also some more environmental impacts. And we understand that there's prime wetlands on the project site, which means we have to do more coordination with New Hampshire DS. We probably need to come to the Conservation Commission and talk to them and make sure everyone is going to be on board if you go with that option, because there will be more wetland impacts. So the other point that I wanted to bring on was the project schedule. The project is programmed for fiscal year 2019, which means the construction has to start, the construction phase, not the construction itself, it has to start between July 1st of next year to June 30th of 2019. We don't recommend doing the project next year, even though it may be tempting. You have the funds appropriated, you have everything in place. It may be tempting for the town to do it as soon as you can, but advertising the project in the summertime is not going to work out that great. You have contractors who already have the work lined up for the rest of the year, so you're asking them to do something more than what they can handle. So they're going to bid very high. That's what we've seen on the past. And then the second issue with that is that we're actually working on the project in town of Andover, and we awarded the project to the contractor in June, and then he can't find any precasters to actually fabricate the bridge and deliver it on site until December. So we're talking like 6 months that we had to wait until that's going to get done. So what we recommend to keep the cost down is to advertise the project sometime in January of 19, award it in March, and then start construction sometime late spring, summer, or fall. And there's a lot of factors that we have to consider there. We have to look at the seasonal traffic being next to a lake. We've done 4 other projects very similar to yours with lake right near the project site. We have to coordinate with emergency response departments, fire, police, and then the school buses. That's other thing that we need to consider on the time that you're going to pick where you want the project done. So there's a lot of different options there that we've thrown for you. We're there to guide you along the way and provide a recommendation, and you decide. You don't have to do what's been scoped out by the DOT. If there's another reason that you want to do a different traffic control management, we can support you with that and then justify it to the DOT because they're participating 80% of the funding. But Sean will show you some pictures of that rigid frame that I mentioned earlier.
Yeah, and as I mentioned, kind of I think the fun part for us is the design part is good too, but one nice thing about this program is that the same team carries on through design and then into construction, and we oversee the construction. As Joseph mentioned, based on the site, the size, the water, you know, we're thinking it's going to be precast concrete, rigid frame, so kind of like a three-sided box. And, you know, what does that look like? This is one thing we like to do at the end of the projects. This is kind of like a photo album for a project in Sharon. And you can kind of flip through at the beginning. It shows, you know, what it looked like ahead of time, and then kind of walks you through the process. You know, remove the existing bridge, continue on, and then bring the precast in. So we thought we'd show that a couple different ways. And again, what's nice is for us, and I think it's a good benefit to the town, the people that design the project. And I should mention, Joseph and I are here tonight. Joseph's going to be the project manager. I'm going to be involved. We're not going to swap staff around on you. You know, we've done a lot. This is what a lot of what we do. But our design team will stay the same, and then they'll go out through construction. So when the contractor has a question, hey, can I move this? Why are you doing this? They know because they designed it. They don't have to go and asking anyone. So that kind of walks you through it, and then a quick review. I'll show you too. We've got just a quick video here.
Here's the project in town of Salem that we completed last year, just to show you how it gets done. The footings were precast, so they were delivered to the site with a crane and erected with a crane. And then the contractor had a large crane on the top of the bank and then picked each section as they were delivered, and then they laid them over the foundation there. So you could see it's fairly simple construction. One thing that we do different with those kind of structures, we design everything in-house. There's other consultants out there, they don't design it, they leave it up to the fabricator. And then during construction, you have to go back and forth. You may not like something that they're detailing, and you may be locked with it. We don't do that. We design everything, and you get what you want. There's no compromise there. So were you able to see all that?
Yep.
Okay. Fairly simple construction.
And the other thing to mention too is, that the engineering study, again, where we start, that lays out all the different options. Part of that, there's a public involvement process. And, you have a little bit of a unique situation here where you have some seasonal people at the lake, you've got school, you've got fire, police, you get all those people together and talk about the different options. The plans we have here for Young Road, that's near a lake in Barrington, so there was a lot of outreach that the town did, so we've got, experience with that. We're doing a project in Gilmanton, same thing, it actually goes through the lake. So there's a lot of discussion, when do you close the road, how much do you do, what time of year do you do it? So there's a lot that goes into it, but a lot of town input, you look at all that, we're here, we're consultants, we're giving you the information. It's one thing that's really nice about this program is there's a lot of local control and a lot of local decision making. So that's kind of the overview of where we're at. A little bit about us and a little bit about the project, and I think the rest of the time we're going to leave to any questions or anything else we could go over for you.
Questions, Joe? You?
I do have two questions. You guys hit everything that most everything that I was going to ask, but Ken, do you mind? The first question is Bennett Bridge. You talked about the detour, going up the dirt road there. Bennett Bridge is about as wide as this table. Have you guys taken that into consideration about the traffic, back and forth during, say, a school day or during the busy season?
Yeah, I mentioned earlier that you're not going to be able to get the school buses or that, even if you upgrade it. There will be just vehicular traffic, not school buses.
It's only
And
wide.
it's going to be a
enough
lot of cost to upgrade it too.
Yeah, it's only about a car and a half wide. So, do you guys have plans to, manage traffic down there?
It would be additional cost that you have to upgrade the actual condition of the road.
Of the bridge?
Right.
Oh.
Not the bridge, the actual road, not the bridge. So you need to consider doing some kind of a signalized traffic management when you get down the hill there by the beach area, by the
Yeah, that was a concern, was
bridge.
it the bottlenecks
You need
right
to do
there.
something, you have to do some kind of a signalized traffic control management,
Yeah, and I think,
which is additional cost.
yeah, I think we're not saying that's ideal. It's just an option through the
We're just giving you
program.
all the options that they're there on the table.
You know, we've had a couple projects before where the detour turned out to be a Class 6 road, and the DOT will pay to upgrade that, and it's a benefit to the town, so the road gets upgraded, brought up to a little better standard, and at the end, they just, you know, it's closed to, you know, they put gates up. So it, on a road where, a little different situation, but where it's a dead end, gives them another access in, and the state will pay for that.
Did they ever finish from Sherburne Hill to Bull Lake Road?
No, we haven't done any work on it since the last time we got federal money.
That little, when they did the building complex down in there, you used to be able to get through there, all the way through.
Sherburne Hill to
through
Bull-
there.
No, we
You know what I'm
haven't.
talking about? No?
All right.
The biggest thing that goes across Bennett's Bridge probably is the UPS trucks and FedEx trucks, they cross it, and I've seen six-wheel dump trucks go across it, but I hold my breath. The guy did a septic system there not long ago, and he was crossing it with a six-wheel dump truck. I mean, he made it across, he had enough width to do it, but I don't know how much weight the bridge can withstand. It's an old stone bridge, I don't know if you guys looked at it, but it is a little scary.
Now, what's the downfall to the other side, the other detour? You said there was two
Just
different ones,
mileage.
just the mileage?
It's a long ways around.
Yeah, it's anywhere between 11 to 12 miles, whether you go around the lake or on the west side of the lake.
Right.
Which, you know, works into a couple issues. There's, you know, regular vehicular traffic, but also police, fire. You know, we'd certainly want them to weigh in and then look at, you know, school buses. Again, that depends on, this was a little different, you know, normally we say, let's do it in summer, you don't have to deal with school buses, but summer you got, you know, seasonal people there,
Yeah, so it's like,
Right.
Yeah, you gotta,
You have to pick something and go.
yeah, one or the other.
The town line isn't too far from the bridge. I don't know how many children you have between the bridge and the Northwood town line.
We might be able to work our
I don't know
bus
how
stop out
many's
or
in
something.
there, yeah.
we've
I mean,
It's
it
just
would be
options
hard
we
for
can
them to
think
go all
about.
the way around the lake with a bus. I think that would be a tough one, but that's my opinion. Because that would
It's all
add,
You could do the construction during the summertime if that's the concern. We could, comfortable time to do this project will be anywhere between 2 to 3 months, but we could restrict it. We could put the specifications and the plans to get it done in a month. The project that Sean mentioned here on the proposal, that was a month in Barrington. It was done in 1 month. The road was shut down, and the contractor had the whole site in a month. He got everything done.
that would be the way to do it, I think. I mean, I really don't want to see the school buses travel way around there. It would cost money for the school
I
and
think-
bus transportation
Not
and
that-
everything. It would be extra.
Not that that would be a final decision, but
No.
I think if we were to detour for, like, if you said a month, I think we could probably get past that. People, I'm sure you're gonna get gripe no matter what we do, but I think if you get it done that quickly, the gripe will only be minimal
Right.
instead of,
And even if you go with one of the other options, a temporary bridge or the phase construction, you're still going to inconvenience people because
Right.
you're not going to have 2 lanes, you're going to have a signalized
On both sides.
system on both sides, so one has to stop, so you're still going to inconvenience them, but the longer period. If you close it, you're only going to inconvenience them for 1 month, and they'll be done with it. You don't have to worry. So if you phase it, or if you do a temporary bridge, it'll be probably about 4 months,
Yeah.
especially with the phasing, because you're doing everything twice, really.
and during that study phase, that's where you really wanna have public outreach, do some mailers, get it on,
some public hearings and stuff like that.
yeah, get some hearings and get people in here early on, and, you know, you don't want them coming to you when the bridge is closed to.
Especially get, like, the people that live on the road, get their input is really the biggest people it's gonna affect is those people.
And we do that with every project early on. We have a public information meeting, and we tell them what our thoughts are and what the town wants to do, and then you hear from them, and then you address it. Everyone is involved. It's your project.
Yeah, and as Joseph mentioned, you know, the flip side to doing these other things is it's a longer project, and it's, you know, you're talking another $100,000 to $300,000 to, you know, to do some of these options we're talking about.
Right, and I think
Versus
when
closing.
you explain that to the people, you say, well, you can be inconvenienced for a month, and save 100 to 200,000, a lot of them are gonna be like, okay, at first they're gonna be a little disappointed, but then
Yeah.
they're gonna be like, yeah, okay, it works.
Right.
Hopefully. That's all I got.
I had one more question. You guys were up there, there's that the mill pond with the dam right there. You guys have any concern with that? Did that impact your,
We
scheduling
shouldn't touch
decision?
that, that's so far out, and I think that was mentioned on the proposal too, so we don't expect any issues with that. As part of the project, we do have to fill out a form, we have to send that to the Division of Historic Resources, and they weigh in, they tell us if we need to do any archaeological investigation or any historic reports. We don't expect being that far upstream from the crossing, and we don't expect that's gonna be a showstopper for anything.
The only problem would be if it broke when you were working there.
Could be a problem.
There's
They-
a beaver dam there,
well,
so
there's a
if
big
that
beaver
beaver
dam there
dam
now.
goes, you're gonna get a lot of water coming toward
Right.
you.
Right now, if the dam happened to break when you were there, you'd probably have 3.5 feet of water coming out of
Yeah, it's a
there.
lot of water. It's some height differential.
I think
from-
they've built it pretty well, and I don't think it's gonna fail unless you really get in there and do some pounding around and shake it a lot, but
No, it shouldn't. I mean, based on the area, the soils look pretty good, so, again, we would do borings to figure out
like you
what's
say,
there.
it's at least probably, what, 75 or 100 feet away from the bridge.
Yeah, at least 75.
Yeah, so we wouldn't, the project wouldn't really have any effect on it.
guys, you answered all my questions, thank you.
Thank you.
We're all set, I guess.
Thank you.
Thank you for
We'll
coming
be in
in.
touch.
All right,
Thank you
so,
for the opportunity.
I guess two quick things. Just want to thank you for the opportunity to be here. And I guess the question we had was just curious what your schedule was. I know you roughly, not.
What about
We want
like,
to act
making a
sooner
decision?
than later, but
So we have one final interview on the 10th
Yep.
of this month, and hopefully the board can, it's up to them, obviously, but they can make a decision at that time,
Yeah, I
or,
don't see
think
why we
on it.
shouldn't be able to make a decision by that time, by the 10th. I mean, if you're saying we only have one on that, then I think
it's
we'll be
only one,
okay. So I would say roughly by the 10th, or whether the next day or two after that, you'll probably hear from Joe, one way or the other, I'm sure.
Okay, great. In the meantime, if you need anything else from us, feel free to contact any of the references we have in there, and
Okay,
appreciate your time.
thank you.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you.
You guys.
It's good to be on first and last.
I like small companies. I like small companies. and
Well,
stuff.
plus, you know what I like is that, they go back and all of these places that they've been to, once they've gone back to again, as far as the people like, the towns like kind of speaks for them.
This company coming in is woman-owned. That's the one my son worked for. I didn't even get into.
But that's just my opinion, if you start looking at like Rochester through.
Guys, feel free to take a seat right at the
Well, we got boards and easels. How, best way is the cameras up there?
There's cameras there's cameras
All right,
there.
so, all right, we're just,
Yes.
for the video public.
No, that's great. I'm not
I
sure.
don't want to preclude anybody behind us.
One behind us.
They can move around to the side if they have to.
I'm sure they are.
Set up. They're gonna do a little film.
I can get it with that camera. I'm pretty good with.
You're pretty good with joysticks?
Yeah, you can put it right there, or I would imagine you might want to put it where the audience can see it.
That's what we're wondering, we can up here,
You put it here,
and that way,
as long as it's not too high, it blocks my camera.
yeah, camera over there, no, this is high down right here.
I have three cameras, I can
You can get us all.
see everything you do.
You don't know you're getting your picture taken. in tonight, huh?
Nah, I didn't know.
Oh, I never heard.
Are we gonna wait for, are we gonna do it when Scott's here? Or do you need it for,
Is Scott on his way?
No, he's not coming tonight.
is that for the, are you talking for the town?
We're
Oh, I guess we can do it tonight.
He's not here tonight, but
We can still do it if you have to have it.
doing that, Joe asked about
That's fine.
what are we doing it
here
for?
for later anyway.
Accepting a grant, this grant that we pushed off to try to get these things done. No, 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 no,
As soon as these gentlemen,
She asked about the photo.
Really? Yeah, we'll do it, definitely. We were a little late today by accident. It happens.
I didn't know either, I came for 6.
It happens.
I've been so busy. I was out to,
I noticed it as soon as I looked at the agenda, I was like, oh,
I was
5:30.
out to the,
thank you, sir.
zoning board last night till 10:30.
And then I couldn't figure out how to answer my truck phone when Joe called me because I'm still not.
I don't even know. I
still
didn't
not
even look
used
at
to the
my
whole
phone.
Bluetooth in the car.
Here's an extra one for them.
I didn't even
We'll
look
give
at
it
my
to Scott.
phone.
I hung up on Scott twice.
I did get one from Joe, but
I hung up on Scott twice in the truck because I'm not used to using it yet.
If you want,
we were late.
stop singing. We're actually probably going to spend most of the time over there. Thank you. We want to get this.
Yeah.
That's why we said it.
Here, you sit on this. You sit over here. We go from there.
Again, sorry we were running late today.
Not an issue.
We
had a
all
brain
understand. We all understand. Okay.
Are you ready?
We're
Oh, okay.
ready for
We
you.
didn't know.
Whenever you're
All right.
ready.
Just didn't know what was going on. All right, good.
Whenever you're ready.
I gave you our handout. I'll start out with introducing us. I'm Lisa Martin, President and CEO. I might yell into it. I'm Lisa Martin. I'm the President and CEO of Quantum Construction Consultants. This is Jim Bouchard. Jim is our Senior Project Manager, Roadway Design guru. I have over 35 years of experience in structures, bridges, dams. Jim has over 40 years of experience in roadway, transportation, permitting, drainage, all kinds of facets of transportation design. One thing I want to point out is Jim is old, and so am I.
We're going to have our glasses on.
Yes. So let's talk a little bit about our company. Our company is a little bit different, or I will say it is a lot different from our competitors. We're a very small company. We have 7 employees. Jim and I lead the company. When you are dealing with our company, you are talking to us. We handle phone calls all of the time. When you have an issue, we respond. In fact, we even give you our cell phone numbers. That's the type of personal service that we provide. Our corporate culture, obviously we're very small. We specialize only in municipal work. We have a little bit of state work that we just happen to have, but we do not design state bridges. We don't design airports. We don't design your 500-foot long bridges. We design municipal bridges that are typical in New Hampshire. So when you look at our experience on the very first sheet of project, in the package that we had sent for our quals, you'll see a list of bridges. And they're all municipal, and I want you to notice that there's a lot of repeat clients. We're proud of that because it means that we service our clients well, and that's something that we as a small company can do. Large companies, we don't have a corporate profit centers to deal with. We don't have somebody over us saying, you know, this is the profit you need to meet, and those sorts of things. So it's a very New Hampshire way of business for us. And we both worked for large companies for many years. We've known each other for 30 years, worked together on and off, and we just don't like the large corporate culture, so we created our own. One of the things I'd like to also point out is that all of our staff is LPA trained. If you don't know what that is, it's a DOT training session. I'm sure, Joe, you've probably been through it.
No, I haven't, but
Okay.
thank you for clarifying.
So we are all cross-trained in all kinds of disciplines. We all do permitting. Our 7 people are very versatile. And one of the things that we also help you through is budgeting. If you look at what we provide, and you'll have seen it in our proposal or our quals packages, we provide the town, when we do the engineering study, we give you a cash flow matrix. So right up front, you know what your costs are. We'll give you a budget for easements, we'll give you a budget for all kinds of things, construction, and we give you a chart, and it tells you what you need up front for design, when you will get reimbursed by the state for design, how much you'll get reimbursed, and we give you a schedule, and then we can work with you to say, okay, this is going to come in July, or this is going to come in November. And it follows the cash flow that the town needs, because when you have a bond vote, you need to appropriate the full amount, and then you work off of cash flow, and then you get your reimbursement at the very end of the job. You get some reimbursement in the middle, and that's what this chart does. It tells you when you get reimbursed. You get 80% of the cost of the whole project, but it comes at different times during the project. So we are right up front. We tell you what we think you need for the project.
Yeah, we work with you. We work with you at different submissions. I mean, as you may have found out in reading the attachments for the municipal bridge program, you got to do an engineering study, you got to do your design, you got to do your final design, and we developed this at all 3 of those phases, and as may be needed along the way for your own internal funding and necessities as it comes along. And it's all based on our estimates and our working knowledge of the bridge program.
And then I'll talk about a little bit about your bridge. Your bridge is a very small bridge for a bridge in New Hampshire, but I also want to state that your bridge is important to us. It's not a penny in the bucket. It is an important project because we are a small firm. Larger companies may not put the same emphasis on this type of a project. You have a 10-foot span bridge, which makes it barely a bridge in New Hampshire. If you went by federal guidelines, it would not be considered a bridge. It has a low profile, but we did notice, and I do want to ask you, have you ever had flooding issues? No, okay, because FEMA says the same thing. FEMA says this is a minimal risk for flooding, and it's probably because of the old dam upstream that holds back some water. And that's a good thing, because it tells me that I don't need a huge bridge to replace this bridge. There'll be some alignment issues because you have a 30-degree skew. Right. This bridge screams precast, just so you know. And in our handout, we just gave you examples of precast construction. The least expensive construction would be a box culvert. And you'll see we've done a couple of projects where the DES has allowed us to use a box. It doesn't have an open bottom structure, which their stream rules require. But what we do is we take the box and we fill it with natural stream bed, so the fish don't know the difference. And when you have a small span and you're constructing abutments, your toe of one abutment almost touches the other, so it might make sense to use a box. Again, it's a permitting thing, and we've gone for waivers, and we have been successful on that. We size it based on hydraulics, but based on what we see, we don't see it increasing vastly. The skew creates a little bit of an issue for the box. It also creates an issue for the rigid frame, which also is a very good choice for this bridge. The 2 projects that we have in that folder, they have a skew to them, especially I think it's the second page, has a 30-degree skew. So when you look at the bridge, it's very similar to your situation. You do have to design for that in the bridge. We can look at what we call ABC construction, which is accelerated bridge construction. where you shut your bridge down for a very short time and you construct your bridge. Precast lends itself to that. However, when you force a contractor into a tight time frame, it drives the price up. But those are all things we look at in the engineering study and we discuss with you. There's open communication throughout the whole process. We come in, we meet with you, we discuss options, and it's just an open communication. What I do want to talk about more is the traffic detour that I'm going to turn over to Jim, because it's a little bit complex.
Oh, sure. Let me talk about the dirt. Okay. One of the things, and we have been to the site, as probably all the consultants have that you have interviewed, and a couple of things that we looked at, and we drove around, and we looked at Bennett Bridge, and we looked at the Class 6 road that feeds that, and I just wanted to note that, you know, based on the DOT and everything we could find, there's like 1,400 cars a day travels this road. That's not a low-volume rural road. That is getting up there. I mean, some of the bridges we have done, as Lisa's already mentioned, are same span, same setup, but we got 800 cars. That's a whole different ball of game sitting out there. You got 1,400. This is a cut through from Stratford. Anybody can argue against me, but I'm going to say it's a cut through from Stratford. It's got to be. And you just see how it lays out. So what we looked at is detour roads. All right. We got to use something decent. You got to go basically, if you're on, well, here we go. If you're on this side of the bridge, you're coming out of Mill Pond, you can't go here, and you only want to go down here to this new house being constructed down right in here, you got to go, unless you're going to use the Class 6 road, and God forbid you got to have four-wheel drive in some places, you're going to drive 13 miles around to get down to that one location. Let's think about it the other way. First responders coming in. Wait a minute, we know we can get here, but I got to get to there. How am I going to get a fire truck? How am I going to get an ambulance? How am I going to get safety, Department of Safety, or anybody out there all the way around here? Do I travel 13 miles? Do I go up into Stratford? Do I come around? Or do I, you know, a cruiser, maybe they're going to do Class 6. I don't think a fire engine is going to do that. So basically the other thing is, that's not a good alternative, what I'm trying to say. Bennett Bridge, nice structure, you know, there's a 90-degree curve right in that little settlement there, not good. So what we did is we looked at real hard out in here how we could do what we call an on-site temporary detour road. And gee, this is identical to one we did in another community up north. They had a island, a bridge going out to an island, and it also served the town's beach on the lake and the boat launch. So just to put it mildly, they had 400 residents on the island. It really clustered, a lot of traffic. So what we said when we looked at the same situation is, yeah, we could develop something really easy using a single lane detour. You got good sight distances, stop signs, and every yield signs, and you put a 48-inch culvert is what we used. We and built a little detour down around like this. Now, what Lisa has do you have it right there? Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you'll be Vanna White. Yeah, okay, whatever. Here's a couple of views looking at it. This is before, looking at the bridge from one angle, turned on the other side, looking at it. This is before. We went into the wetlands, similar to here. We put down a fabric, we put down a culvert, we put down gravel, and we built this temporary bridge, as you can see right here. But this is before construction, this is after construction. This is the same set of wetlands. Here's the wetlands, and there's the wetlands. The pictures got reversed a little bit, but here's the wetlands, same subject area right there. Here's how we started it. You know, we put down a fabric, we put down gravel. More, you know, here it is right here. We put in a 48-inch culvert, blocks, built it up. There's the road. Here's the detour road, excuse me, over here. Here's the bridge that we're taking out and replacing over in here. Worked very, very well. Not only were we used it there, we're using it in a whole other community. Very cheap construction. I mean, all told, out of your budget that you're going to put in for this bridge, your 20%, less than 1.4% of that will go to building something like this and removing it. Temporary bridges, yeah, you could put one in, but I have to ask why. But it works very well. So that's what we envision out here from our look. And we do it on this stream side, on the upstream side. works very well. Good sight distances, and you already have an area in here that's partially clear. Well, it's actually right in here, partially clear, but it'll be, keep it as tight as possible and allows cars, and believe it or not, the people will become very accustomed to this. They'll say hi to each other as they're sitting there waiting to get across and all this, so it does work out good. So that's what we envision for trying to get your traffic and deal with the traffic right there at the bridge. It all comes out. What we do is basically the fabric goes down on all the wetlands, and when we pull the fabric back out, everything comes right back to life and it all looks good.
As I stressed before, all throughout the project process, we consider the stakeholders. We consider the town the major stakeholder, the DOT, ourselves, and the contractor. It becomes a team effort to construct a bridge project. So we encourage you to call our references, and you'll notice that we also included contractor references. We do that for a reason, because we want to show you that we're a team player, and we work with the DOT, we work with the town, and we work with the contractor to make sure that you have a successful project. On the last page of our little handout, we tell you why we're wonderful. So, we know it, but we really would like this project. Like I said, your project is important to us, and we do thank you for the opportunity to be here, and we welcome any questions.
I just got one. The detour road you're talking about, are you thinking of making that so you're talking just wide enough for one vehicle? So what would be your suggestion on like bus stops on one side or the other for the kids and stuff like that?
If, part of it is we get the project going back to the engineering study. Where are there bus stops? The idea is that, I guess we're going to get into talking about scheduling this. You're at 2019 funding year, which makes that July 1st, 2018, but you really want to construct this in the following, in the summertime and have it ready to go. So I don't know if there's a bus stop there. I know there probably is one. I can't speak for it, but there's probably one up here at Mill Pond Road where the bus could stop. I mean, if we have to put some temporary signage in for that or whatever. The bridge itself, the crossing itself is 14 feet wide, so it's designed to allow any of your school buses, your large fire apparatus, whatever, get through there without a problem. And the stops, the yields, I should say, are back far enough, right back here at this intersection, and we'd be back here far enough that somebody, first responders get around whatever stop traffic is there and get across and come back up. So, but that's all what we'll ferret out. Well, part of the process is, if I can speak real quick, is not only are we going to meet with you folks, I mean, we're going to take pride, we're going to consider it part of our bridge, but it's your bridge, and it's not only you fine gentlemen sitting here, but it's the whole community. So we're going to have a local concerns meeting. We'll have, we're going to what do people think? Because, we can draft our ideas, but there's people out there that are going to want to know and provide some input. And sometimes, and more often than not, you come up with some really good suggestions.
When you're talking the yield sign on each side of the road, are you talking like one of those standing up yellow, red lights that you usually stop at? I've seen at some bridges like that have a light on one side and a light on the other side. So one side would be green, one side would be red, and then you obviously switch
that can be done, and that's a consideration. With 1,400 vehicles, that's what we call, there are portable traffic signals, and they interact back and forth. So you have the red, yellow, green, and you have enough yellow time and red time to clear this work zone out, and so that so it can happen, so you don't have somebody caught in the middle. Right. And actually, they're fairly inexpensive, based on the project. They're trailer mounted, and you could set 2 of them up that way. The one we did in Center Harbor, which I just showed you up there, we just had yield signs, and it worked very well. Yield to oncoming traffic, and it worked. We didn't have a big problem. Key factor on that one too was we did that a lot of time. That was winter construction, and so the island's summer residents had gone down, but you still have they're full time. But yeah, traffic signals are good to offer. We're using that someplace else. Right?
I think your battery died.
Okay.
It's okay.
Thank you.
I got shut off.
I don't have any more questions. I don't know about these guys.
Thank you.
Got a couple.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can sit down if you want.
We can always go back up there.
Oh, okay, it's dying.
Works.
He karaoke's to himself when we're not around.
That's what you get for starting early.
I have a karaoke thing going here.
Go ahead, Rick.
Test 1, 2.
There you go. Thank you.
I have a couple comments I'd like to make. If this is done anytime when the kids are in school, I would definitely say a set of lights, because there's a lot of teenagers that travel that road to go to Coburn Academy, and they travel back and forth, and with a yield sign,
Yeah,
I think chances are slim of them obeying it.
even if we don't,
Well, see, thank you, because that's what, that's the participation and the input we'll be looking from you folks. And, you know, yeah, definitely, we build it into the budgeted in, okay, we're gonna need that, just for
my
safety.
opinion, I think if we were to do it in the summer, that would, either way, even if we did it when those kids aren't in school,
We
with
would
the
need
summer
lights.
rentals, we have both. We have the influx of the summer rentals if we do it when school's out.
Okay,
But if
yeah,
we do
true.
it in the winter, yeah, the summer rentals are gone, but then you got all the kids, so.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
kind of the,
We're gonna have that dilemma, no matter which time we do it, so I think the lights would probably.
Lisa could probably speak to construction, but I would say definitely you want to do it summer months. You want to try to get this
Right.
readied for bidding prior to, right around Thanksgiving time. That's when you get your best prices, and that allows you to go through the DOT process of being able to award the bid by the middle of January or so. Contractors can start all their shop drawings and submittals for whatever, you know, to get that done. So when they're ready to go in, you know, when the weather breaks, we can get out there, we'll work with the school department, okay, we're gonna have to build the detour, have it ready to go. So the bulk of the work is done during the summertime. The idea is most communities, and we strongly recommend, start in the spring, have it ready for the opening of school.
Yep, that's what I would suggest too. That would be my, I guess.
It just works really well at the end of
Yeah.
it that way.
it makes sense.
And what I'd like to add is what we typically do is we write it right into the contractor's construction contract, but we give them plenty of time to prepare. They need to do shop drawings and continue to get all of the things ready before we allow.
your finger off the
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Before, I thought I had to push to talk. We get everything ready before we allow them to shut the road. So when they have all their submittals and they're all approved, then we say, okay, you may shut the road. And so we schedule it that way.
Okay. That's all I got, unless you got
Trustee
anything
Shaw?
else.
I do, and it's about, like the other guys, about the detour. In your proposal, it says, I don't have a page number, but I'm guessing, looking at this, we're gonna need some kind of easement to be able to punch a road in here and then run a bridge over. It says you guys don't deal with easement negotiation. That's gonna be a cost factor on our side. You guys wanna talk to that?
When we say we don't do the negotiation, we don't negotiate money with the property owners, but we do go out and meet with the town and the property owners to show them what we're proposing. And we give the town guidelines on how you might come up with the appropriate cost.
Further, what we do is we will prepare the easement plan. We'll identify the impacts on the landowners, yes, for the detour road, but there's also going to be some slope easements for building the bridge on the other side and things like that. We prepare an easement plan, we prepare the draft easement docs, and we provide them to you. The documents were provided in Word format, so your town councilor, attorney can review them. They can edit them as they see fit, because every attorney's got a little bit different aspect of it. So we give you that in Word, and we identify the easements, we are available, like Lisa said, we'll meet with the property owners and the town, and we'll talk about why that's required. And also sometimes we help ferret out what the landowner wants, they might have a concern, and, so we do that. But when it comes down to the fiscal responsibility of it, that's outside of our purview. That is up to the, for you folks, and you have guidance from the DOT.
All right, thank you.
Anything else?
No, thank you.
I think I'm okay.
I guess we're all set.
Thank you very
Thank
much
you
for your
for-
time.
Thank you.
We're sorry we were late again.
Oh, that's
No
fine.
problem.
Thank you for
No
having
problem.
us.
Don't worry. We just appreciate coming here, yeah. All right, let's get our stuff.
public hearing next?
we
Bang
can.
that out, and then we'll go back to the regular
That's
agenda.
fine.
That's the wrong one, yeah, that's the right.
Sorry, I gave you a heads up for the 3rd.
Yep. We'll let them get going, I'll take a second. I gotta have a break.
You got it all covered.
Thank you.
Let me, I'll get those.
I need a drink.
It's hot in here.
I did the same thing as soon as I got in here, Rick. Same exact thing.
Look, I did.
Too warm. Coming out of the
Look, I did the same thing. I spilled it all over everything.
Exploded.
Yeah, I had to get a new chair and everything.
Didn't expect that.
You got the thing that you gotta read in for the public hearing?
I don't, unless it's in my folder here. Look in here, I didn't look.
We're gonna be in the Suncook Sun again? Linda,
We took right off, so I
you
didn't.
gonna put this in the Suncook Sun again?
Yep.
Alright. This time I'll make sure to smile. We're just waiting on Joe.
I don't see it. Joe wanted to know.
I don't, maybe we don't even have to read anything in. I think we're just accepting a grant.
I got too many papers.
Yeah, I know. I feel the same way sometimes.
That's the budget.
That was last week's meeting.
Is Gary Scott?
Do we have to read something in for the public hearing? Do you have it? No, I don't have it.
Could you just stand up by the flag maybe and just
Sure, do you want me to read this in first? Or you want to do the picture first?
whatever you want?
We'll do the picture real quick and then we'll go to the public hearing.
Joe coming?
Right up here by the flag. Awesome. Oh, nice. Oh, that's quite a plate.
This is funded by the Moose Grant Program.
You want to get there? Thanks, guys.
That's what it says, thanks. All right. I got it. I'll read it if you want to. All right, the Northwood Board of Selectmen will hold a public meeting on Tuesday, September 26, 2017. It is now 6:52, no, 6:47, sorry, at the Town Hall to accept $10,000 in grant money to refurbish the historical windows at the Town Hall. Grant is through the New Hampshire Division of Historical Resources. Historical Resources, sorry.
You got it. Public hearing's now open. Would anybody like to make any comments? I think this is a nice gesture. We obviously could do some new windows in the building. It'll help with heat factor, and it'll help with the air conditioning in summertime.
I have just one quick question now. Is this something we're gonna bid out, or do we already have somebody in mind that's gonna do this?
There's only one contractor that will do this kind of historic windows in New Hampshire,
Okay.
and we talked to him, and he came out and reviewed it. When we move forward, I'll get the board that.
Again, I think it's great. I was just asking a question. I'm good.
Seeing no comment from the public, I'll close the public hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Do we need to vote
Motion
on
passes
accepting this?
2-0. Do we need to pass, make a motion to accept
the
the...
grant?
Yeah, did you say,
Well, we didn't really make an exact motion, but I
yeah, you
can.
better give me a motion, yeah, motion
I
to
can.
accept the grant
Motion
funds.
to accept the grant in the amount of $10,000 for the purpose of refurbishing the windows at the town hall.
Second?
Any more discussion?
Seeing none?
Aye.
Call for the vote, aye.
Well, thank you.
Passes 2-0.
All right. Now we're on to the third appointment, which is school board.
Yep.
I want my, okay, I'll take this one.
All right. I guess the school board's gonna come forward.
What's up there?
School board?
Come on up.
Good evening. I apologize, my other cohorts aren't here tonight. Just me and Bree tonight. Should we go? I don't know that we had any particular agenda worked out. I had met with Joe at one point to maybe to brainstorm about some things. I mean, I think we've been, although I haven't been in attendance at any of them, we've been having annual meetings between the selectmen and the school board, or biannual, just to find ways that we can work together on projects and have issues to go. So I know Joe and I discussed some things that we could possibly talk about tonight, although I don't expect there'll be a resolution. That maybe we could perform some things like bids together for, was it fuel and maybe electricity and stuff like that when we're bidding out. I know paving is something else that we can do, like when we did in front of the school, we paved the parking lot and we're in the front of the fire station there. So I don't know if we have any upcoming projects right now that we could think about, but I think a lot of it's just, do we want to work together, and if we do, what areas can we do that with? Other things we had talked about was maybe seeing what we could do on the school side to get the rec department to have more access to the school for things like, adult sports perhaps in the gymnasium, or getting maybe people who want to walk around in the winter to be able to walk around in the school or something like that, and open up things for people. We'd have to talk to the superintendent about that and find out. I'm imagine most of that is, if there's any pushback from the school, it's probably going to be along the lines of insurance and liability and stuff like that. But perhaps we can find some way of working something out. If the rec department can sign off on it or something like that and take responsibility for it. And if we could have maybe some person designated as the person who can open up the school and let people in and supervise them or something along those lines. So those were the things that I think just Joe and I came up with. I don't know what else, if anyone else has any ideas or how to move forward with any of this stuff. I'm not sure.
I thought the rec department, we were using the gymnasium for basketball in there on, I thought it was Tuesday or Thursday nights.
Yep, they were doing some pickup basketball games.
Did they stop us from doing that?
No, there was some concern about having, we approached the school last year to have some of the elderly walk inside the building because it gets cold outside, and there was a little bit of pushback on that. That was one specific thing that we thought would, we could work together on.
Are you aware of what the pushback was at all?
I don't know.
Safety reasons, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm guessing that.
I didn't get the whole story. I just knew that we weren't doing it.
Right.
So.
Right.
It didn't come to the board, did it?
I don't remember ever seeing that at our board meeting either, but that's certainly something we could bring forward with administration and try to get going. I think there's going to be a little bit of, like I said, I think it's all going to be insurance, because I know 2, 3, 4 years ago, somebody just slipped on ice and hurt themselves badly at the school, and when the school had to pay a lot for that, and it was, I don't think that was rec related or town related, but it's certainly a concern that we're going to have.
Kind of nice if we could, I don't know if the school would be interested in that, if we could get like the rec department to go in there. I know a lot of schools do, like in the winter, they do, each class can do like a snow sculpture, and you can incorporate the rec department into that somehow. I think that's both beneficial for the school and the rec department.
It's going to carnival type.
Yeah, I know Cole Brown does it every year. I don't want to piggyback off of them, but right along the same idea. You could set up like one day or Saturday or whatever, or even a school day. I don't know if that would be feasible or whatever, but they do certain things. And when other towns will, like, they'll have like a winter softball game. It sounds just weird, but it does happen. Or they'll play soccer in the snow. It's just more or less to get the people together than anything. And then each class could build a snow sculpture or whatever, however it worked out.
We could ask, we could poke around and see what we find out.
Kind of like, I know a lot of towns do that. Like, they'll have like a weekend, like a winter carnival weekend, where they do like a Friday, Saturday, they have like an event Friday, whether it's toast marshmallows around, when we got this new skating rink that we got last year. We had the skating rink party up here, like it's Friday. You could wrap it all right around in one weekend. You have the skating party up here, and then the next that Saturday you could do the fishing derby that we always have every year, and then the Sunday you could do something else. So it's like a whole weekend, like a whole shebang.
Yeah. That's a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak for the board, I can only speak for myself, but I know that's something, getting community involvement is something we're very interested in. I mean, it's perennially one of our goals that we want to do, and so if we have to write policies or do something to try to enable that or work out, like I said, I'm sure it's all insurance, that's going to be the issue, if anything,
That's usually what it is.
Yeah.
To your point, I mean, we do a lot in the summer, but we don't have a lot to do in the winter. And if you could just find, and that's the point of like the winter carnivals, so you get those people, even for one day. Hopefully that day is not 30 below, but you never know.
It's a chance you take, like the
Exactly.
fishing derby.
You could have a beautiful weekend where it's 40 and there's 8 inches of snow on the ground, and who cares about playing out in the snow because it's nice out, if you're lucky.
On Derby, we had 4 inches of water on top of the ice
Yeah,
a year or two ago
it's
there.
all subject
But
to-
people still came out.
Just, I wish we had something to do in the winter that was more, I mean, yeah, we have the fishing derby, but there isn't much else that's community driven.
Maybe if we work with the rec department, we can get something to do to keep the kids active more than
Yeah.
There's a good sledding hill back there too, so that could be a part of it.
sliding, anything.
Yeah, even if they put together like a little field trip to like Wagon Hill or something, that's another thing with insurance too. It's really not that far away.
And ma'am, do you have any ideas?
I was actually wondering, since the school board submitted their CIP to the town, I wonder if the select board had had a chance to look at that, because I know it's something we wanted to collaborate better on and kind of prevent those ups and downs in the two budgets. So I just wondered if you guys had had a chance to look at that, and if you had anything coming up this year for your CIP.
It's still with the planning board.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Has it
They-
been
They haven't even seen it yet
finalized
till,
yet?
yeah, not till
Oh.
Thursday.
So there's your answer.
Does the planning board have our CIP too, or is it?
Yeah, it's all together in one package.
Okay, good.
Yeah, anybody else got any crazy ideas?
Nope,
I
don't have
got
any more.
tons and millions of ideas. Blows my mind.
I don't know, nobody's ever had a snowman building contest, have they? I feel like that's something that would be easy, and there wouldn't be any liability issues with something that
It's
simple.
the same, yeah, snow sculpture, I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, Pittsfield does it every year, they used to, I don't know if they still do. That's how they do it, like, I have a lot of family there, they do like a Saturday, everybody'd get together, it'd be 3 or 4 teams, and they'd play softball in the snow. Usually 20 people show up, but it's just, you play, it means nothing. You're just there to basically have a good time. And then, it leads up to bonfire at night, such and such, such and such, such and such, and on your way, Maybe we could get, like, Jenna's Pond involved with Lakeshore Farm, possibly do something over that way. Maybe they could donate the hall for the night. I know the guy fairly well, I could talk to him.
I don't know if the recreation committee has thought about, I don't know if they need anybody. Do they need anybody for trunk or treat? Is it something that we could?
Volunteers?
Yeah.
They always need volunteers for trunk or treating.
We might put a plug in our next school board meeting to see if we can get some help for that.
Well, I'll volunteer, I'll park cars. I think it's fun.
The other thing with that trunk or treat, are we gonna do that on a Saturday, or are they gonna try and do it on Halloween? Like, I noticed a lot of towns
It's
are
up to
trying to do it
them.
on a Halloween.
Saturday, isn't it?
It's
Isn't
on the
it already?
28th. Yeah, it's
I was
before.
gonna say, and I was gonna say with the same with Halloween, I don't know if the chief has set his time. I don't know if a weekday is the best bet, obviously with school running late to begin with.
Yep.
I mean, if you set trick-or-treating at 6, school's getting out at 4:30,
Be kind of hectic.
I think it's best to try to have, in my opinion, trick-or-treating on the weekend, especially this year, with
Yeah.
the circumstances that we have. It's just my thought while we're on that subject.
Anything else?
I guess the only thing I was curious about is if you guys had any ideas about things that we could collaborate on as far as contracts and stuff like that. I mean, is there any paving that has to be done, that maybe we can, piggyback on and get a bigger contract and get better, better rate for, or
I wouldn't be
things along those lines.
paving the front part that we started last year. I don't know what that entails, but
Repave in the front.
the whole part, the whole thing. I know we did just.
Need school parking lot you're talking about?
Yeah, that's
that
what
was
I
bad.
mean, and then that way it's all done. I wouldn't be opposed to looking at something like that. I don't know what the budget and holds and all that good, and the numbers part of it, but
Yeah.
I think that's something that we could look at, because we did half of it last year. If we could do some of it, or the rest of it this year, then that whole section's done, and you can move on to something else. That's kind of all. I don't know anything else that.
Yeah, I don't know if any, I
touching.
don't know if we can do any of the road work you guys are doing, if, we can see if there's extra, material or something
Yeah,
like that. We can work together on getting that done rather than having to contract it independently, which would be more expensive, I would imagine. So I guess partly from my point of view, it's kind of keep us in mind, I guess, right? If you guys have things like that going on, maybe be in touch and see if we can work together and make bigger projects.
Maybe it's something we can factor in next year when we bid out the road, because I'm sure we're doing more paving next year, correct?
Yep, we will be. We're gonna try to do it early like we did this year.
Maybe it's something we
Get it
can,
done before school starts and while they're out also.
we can address at that time, if that's something that we want to go forward with.
Yeah, if you guys have some specs for that driveway,
I'm sure we can get you some, yeah.
yeah, we could roll it into a bid and see what we get, yeah.
Yeah. Mr. Gunter, we had talked about maybe doing fuel costs too, like sharing fuel between the town hall, the heating oil for the town hall and school, and then, I don't know how possible it is to put out bids like that, but I know the school uses quite a bit, and that's something else, if we work together, we could possibly
Cheaper
get some
price.
savings on, right? So,
Buy it in bulk.
yeah, right.
Something we could definitely look into.
If the board wants, we can put some numbers together, and if we get your numbers, then we can lump it into what we have and see if we can't get a cost savings.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you need an estimate as far as like what we've used in previous years? Would that?
yeah, just to rough out what you guys are gonna use. And
Kind of like as if you were doing a budget, obviously the numbers aren't going to be concrete, but it's just a general idea.
Yeah, I don't know how a contract like that would work, because you have to be split between two districts or something, but maybe maybe the school could take the whole contract and bill out to the town or something like that.
Or vice versa.
Or vice versa,
Either.
right?
Yeah, or vice
Yeah.
versa.
Something along those lines, perhaps.
I'll talk to Bob and get some numbers, and we can bang something out, see what it looks like.
That'd be great. Yeah, the only other thing, I guess, if there's any specific rec department requests, I'd love to see what they want to do and see if we can work to make that happen somehow, like whatever it would take for us to put that together, so that, I'd love to get more people in school. We built the building, it's empty for a lot of times, and I don't see any reason why we can't get better use out of it, especially in the winter when there's nothing else to do and you can't walk around outside. That'd be,
The hardest part's going to be getting over the insurance, and I'm sure the safety thing with all the stuff that goes on in
Yeah.
the world.
I'm guessing it's a total random guess on my part, but probably what would have to happen is we'd probably have to get some sort of waiver from the rec department or something, saying that they'd be responsible for any and all things that could go wrong. And that's something you guys would have to sign off for something like that. I don't know. I'm just guessing here. We'd have to check with them.
You're probably right, I'm sure. I'm sure the school's biggest concern is Lord forbid anything ever happens major. Hopefully we never have that issue, but.
So it's probably, if we can get the insurance concerns and maybe responsibility for damage if something that happens, if you're playing basketball and there breaks a light or something like that. I'll bet you those are the two big roadblocks, other than scheduling, but scheduling, I'm sure we can work around. Getting past that, or finding some, at least, process for us getting past that would be really great, I think.
I have a question. You might not even know this answer. Do you know if they still have the amphitheater that was down on the nature trail that they used to have down there, or do they even have the nature trail anymore?
I walked that in the spring. I don't recall seeing anything that looked like an amphitheater.
I actually helped build that when I was in school. It was many moons ago. Too many.
Yeah.
But there used to be, they had it built where there was an amphitheater down the nature trail. I don't know how far you went down, but there was like a bridge that went right across the stream. There used to be an amphitheater built right in there. I don't know if that's something else that the rec department could look back into. Maybe. I know we did it once. I think it was, but I don't know how it was sponsored or how it got paid for, but I know we did it one summer, a long time ago. Actually, the kids went in there, 4 or 5 kids went in there and they made like an amphitheater for the school, plus it was like almost like they were donating their time to do it too.
Yep.
Something along the lines of with the rec department too.
Yeah, we'll look into it. I didn't even know it was back there.
No,
I
it's
didn't
probably
either.
not there no more. This, like I said, this was 96, 94, 95. something.
With projects like that too, we could probably tap into the Co-Brown kids who are looking for community service as well.
That's I think that's what we did it for. That's exactly what I did it for. It was literally 3-4 days a year. It wasn't anything. We didn't make anything special. I mean, it wasn't extraordinary. It was more or less just obviously it's built in the woods. We made a little amphitheater for the
Or
teachers
plays
to
and
take
stuff
their
like
kids
that,
to
yeah.
go out.
Yeah.
And, do little lessons out down a nature trail. I don't even know if they've kept the nature trail up. That's been
There is
that
a
long.
trail back there. I don't know if it's the nature trail that
They used
you
to
know
be-
of.
They
but-
used to do it, use it all the time.
Yeah.
That was, like I said, a while ago. They might not even do it no more. Again, that's something you'd have to ask the school if you could even do something like that.
Yeah, I'll ask around and see what's over there.
That's all I got for now.
Any other comments?
Just my only comments is when things come up, let's keep the lines of communication open, and so we can move on things like this, between either Bob and Mr. Gunter, or between us ourselves. It'd be great to hear from you guys if you have some ideas, or if you're running into any friction that we can help out with rec department stuff. I think we'd be happy to help as far as I can tell.
I agree.
Thank you for coming in.
Thanks. Sorry to
For
keep you
putting
guys
us on
waiting.
your agenda.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Yeah,
that.
thank you.
Do we have any other appointments? I see there's some people in the audience.
Nope,
Just gonna move on to,
nope, that's it, yeah.
all right, so we're gonna move on to unfinished business, if we have any.
No, none tonight.
All righty, we're gonna move on to new business. Any?
Acceptance of minutes.
All righty.
I have 5 meeting minutes that need approval. I put it all on one page if you guys are comfortable approving all of them. I did talk to Scott, and he said he feels comfortable with them, so if you guys are good with it, he's good with it.
I'm okay with it. Can we wrap them all into one motion?
As if you make one motion with all of
The
these,
dates.
and then just sign, and then that should be good for us.
All right. I'll make a motion to accept the Board of Selectmen minutes for July 25th, August 1st, August 22nd, September 5th, and September 19th, as written.
Second. Any comments? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The motion passes 2-0.
Forget to pay the air conditioner bill today?
I don't know, I should have had Bree, oh, there she is. Hey, Bree. Will you get the clickers for the AC units? Please.
Hey,
Gary's got it.
you're not at home, you can make him do it.
I said please.
Just say you're not at home, you can make him do it.
Right?
He's actually getting paid.
She won't touch that one.
No assessing tonight, but we do have manifest, payroll manifest.
A motion to accept final payroll register number 20 in the amount of $83,605.52.
Second. Hearing any questions?
I'm okay. You got anything?
I don't. I will look at it in the morning, and if I do, I'll bring them up then.
I'm gonna say aye.
Aye. Motion passes 2-0.
Just a real quick question. Are we getting any better with the clocking out at lunch?
Yes.
Say that kind of hesitantly.
The staff is very dedicated. We're moving there. I talked to everybody, all of our offenders, and they're doing much better.
Okay.
I'll look at it tomorrow.
I was just wondering. I wasn't worried. I know we were having some issues in certain departments. That's why.
Now we're gonna move on to purchase orders.
Purchase orders, okay, so this is, a few weeks back, Gary brought in some quotes that we sent him back out to get a little bit cleaner quotes. The first one is is just video equipment. He got 3 quotes. They're here, and then I made a PO for the cheapest, which was his choice.
Not that I'm not against going with the cheapest, but should we go with the middle one? Because I know cheapest isn't always the best.
The cheapest one was actually Gary's first choice. That's B&H, and he prefers
That's
that.
actually where I was gonna go with it.
That's
If
yeah,
he's
he likes
okay with
them.
it, then I'm okay with it.
Make a motion.
Yep. Make a motion to accept vendor manifest into B&H Photo and Video in the amount of $33,375.85.
Second.
And this will be coming out of the Cable Expandable Trust Fund.
Any have any comments, Joe? You're all set?
Oh, I'm all set, thank you.
Aye.
I'll call for the vote. Aye. Passes 2-0.
Oh, yeah.
Getting too fast. What else do we have?
This next is also from Gary. It's also B&H. This is for a custom-built computer. He said this is the only vendor in New Hampshire that actually builds these computers that he uses. He's requesting just this, what are we calling it? A single source purchase.
This is the purchase order for B&H Audio and Video again, and this again will come out of the Cable Expandable Trust Fund in the amount of $3,689.22.
Second. We had some discussion about this previous, and I don't have any more comments. I don't know if you do, GA?
I'm just glad that we're using the same company. If we're gonna stay with one quote, the fact that we're staying with one company is okay with me. I mean, if it's the only company that does it, then it's the only company that does it. You can't change that.
Do you have any comments, Joe? No. All right, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 2-0.
Just a quick question. What does this leave us with in this account? Do you know, Joe?
Plenty of money. Plenty of money.
That's just,
We got over 60,000.
not that it matters, it was just a
Plenty of
quick
money.
question. Just a question, that's all.
There's 74,000 in there right
It
now,
was
so.
just a question.
Nope, there's plenty of money.
Yeah, he's doing okay.
I just didn't want to see you like bled dry, that's all.
Good question. But we're not scratching the cover.
No, that's fine, that's great.
That's all the POs I have for you.
All right, moving on to miscellaneous signatures and approvals.
All right, these are the 674s that you guys, we sent to you in your packet. One is being pulled, the 9 Pleasant View Avenue. That's being pulled tonight. That's being continued in the zoning board. So we're setting that one aside, but we do have the other one for 14 Circle Street.
Now, which one is this? If, please give me just a quick synopsis.
This is the one where they're taking a trailer, call them a trailer? Mobile home, and putting another mobile home in place. My understanding is it's a little bigger. I don't know by how many square feet.
This is the one they approved last night at the zoning
Yeah.
board.
Yep.
Is this correct? Circle Street.
It's over on the backside of Northwood Lake.
Okay, yeah, I know you're talking about down over by Jack Street and Gulf Road on that side,
Yeah.
that section. Okay. So they're just taking one mobile home off and
Putting another in.
Yep.
It was discussed at the ZBA last night, right, Linda?
I'm okay with that.
The-
So we're not, the only thing we might change is the fact that a mobile home might be a touch longer. We're not really changing anything else.
No, the Board of Selectmen need to, your portion of this is to allow construction on a private road, which is
Yeah,
the
I'm okay with that.
674.
I don't see any problem with that.
And,
It is a little longer, but it's like 8 feet or
I don't see
something.
any issue with
Yeah,
that. It's
and-
not like we're building a house.
Nope.
It's not like they're building a
There's
house.
2 places to sign here.
All right,
These guys, this group does have apparently a really good
they have a road agreement. a good
association
one.
in place.
Yeah, I
and
know
they
where
have
this
bylaws
is.
and
I think I
everything.
got a pretty good idea where this
They
is.
have a good road agreement.
All right, so I'm gonna make a motion do we have a map number, or you just want me to, oh, yeah, right there, map 116 lot 98, and this would be for, what,
Circle Street.
what?
It's 14 Circle Street.
Yeah,
It's
14 Circle Street,
It's
and
approval to build.
we're approving to remove an existing mobile home and replacing it with a newer, updated mobile home. No?
No, it's approving the 674.
Approving a 674?
Yeah, variance and agreement and release.
Variance and agreement release. You got it.
Second.
I'm good.
Any more discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 2-0.
Stop yelling at me, it's too late. Much better in here now.
Yeah, a lot better. Some air moving.
It was pretty toasty here a little while right there. I gotta sign it there too.
You didn't sign it?
No, he told me after. He told me before, but I wasn't paying attention.
It's like being at home.
It happens.
At least I'm honest.
At least we caught it. All right, what else do we have?
This is a request from the rec director to buy, we needed 10 more jerseys, and she bought some sweatshirts for the coaches. She got 2 quotes. She went with the cheaper quote, which was actually the people that she prefers, so we're batting 1,000 today.
I got a quick question before we go into this. Is this is it? Yeah, I'll make a motion. All right, make a motion to accept the bid for Fierce Apparel in the amount of $725 for purchasing of 10 additional jerseys and sweatshirts for the coaches.
Discussion.
Yeah, my quick question is I've been kind of led to believe that this company is run by our rec director. Is that true?
Oh, no, that's 100% not true. We were buying from this guy, his name's Ed LeDuc, and he does live in Northwood.
That's what I've been, I'm not saying it was
Northwood.
true, I was just saying that's what I've heard.
No, we've been buying from him for a few years now.
Okay, I didn't want to, that's fine. I wasn't speculating, that's what I've heard.
No.
Okay, then I'm good.
Give me a second, I want to look at this.
And where is this money coming? Does she have the money in the budget?
This is coming out of the revolving fund, so the parents that pay into the rec programs, they get the t-shirts from that, yeah.
Fine.
And the sweatshirt for the coaches we're paying for.
Yep.
All right.
They try to give them a little something every year.
I don't have a problem.
I'm good with that. My question was strictly hearsay. I wasn't saying anything. It was just
that's
strictly
rumor.
hearsay.
So I'll call for the vote.
Aye.
Aye, passes 2-0.
We need a purchase
Guess we
order
need
for
to
that.
sign nothing. We don't-
No, if you flip the page, this is the rec, that one
There
right
it
there.
is.
Do we need a purchase order for that too?
No, that comes out of their special revolving fund, you just need to approve that.
Okay.
Moving on.
We got the resolution for the, I forgot the name of the company here, the MetroCast resolution. They sold their business to Atlantic Broadband. I got some reasoning from the lawyer. She recommends signing her version of the resolution because she felt that the resolution that MetroCast gave is kind of committing the town of Northwood to things that the town shouldn't be committing to. Particularly number 3, it says the town is releasing MetroCast from all liability, which I don't think the town is really willing to say that. And number 5 of the MetroCast version says plan to grant the lender a security interest in the sorry guys, I lost my thought. Number 5 says a pledge or grant to any lender a security interest in Atlantic Broadband's assets to secure indebtedness. She just doesn't feel comfortable with the board making these pledges. So this is the original.
I have a quick question on that MetroCast thing too.
This is her version.
I've been asked by some people, and now that we have a chance to change our MetroCast contract per se, because now that we're going into a new one, there's some people that are asking if our meetings can be put on other cable access or however you want to do it. But I was told you have to change the wording here,
Provider.
because MetroCast has the contract to it. Is that correct?
I don't know, let's ask.
Are you speaking of putting it on the websites and stuff?
Well,
Generally speaking?
yeah, in general, just getting it, I was led to believe that right now, because we have the contract with MetroCast, that we can't put our meetings on another access point without their permission. Is that correct?
Like in another town?
Or let's say, instead of using MetroCast, let's just
just throwing it out there, say we wanted to throw it on like Dish TV or Direct TV, we wouldn't be able to do that, correct?
It would be up to the Dish TV, I would think.
Okay.
You'd have to
And
get
this,
all-
a lot of people are asking, because most people in Northwood don't have MetroCast, is what I'm getting at. So they don't get to see a lot of, you mentioned it last week, and I wasn't aware that you actually
Put it in the library.
We actually put it at the library, so anybody that wants to see our meetings, go to the library.
I think we should go on our own website and make it available there, but
I don't know if that's something we have to work in, I guess what I'm asking, is that something we have to work into our new contract? Now that we have a chance to, I guess, revise our contract, is that something,
I think once these are recorded and put onto a DVD or put into a file form, I don't think they have any say where it goes.
Okay.
I never asked them.
it was just a question. I just know a lot of people have asked if we could get it on different, because most people don't have MetroCast.
You know, we could ask around. We could ask the satellite providers, see if they could put us on there. It's free to ask.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. We can move on. Do I gotta make a motion for
I
this?
can make a motion to,
Make a motion to accept the resolution and sign the document that our lawyer is suggesting that we sign
in reference to
in reference to, do you want me to read it?
MetroCast.
Would you please?
All right, I'll read it into the minutes. In reference to, the town of Northwood, in parentheses, Franchise Authority has received a request from MetroCast Cablevision of New Hampshire LLC to assign to Atlantic Broadband, New Hampshire's Dash Main LLC, the cable television franchise held by MetroCast. The franchise requires that MetroCast obtain the franchising authority's prior consent for the assignment of the franchise by MetroCast to Atlantic Broadband. Wow, that's a lot of franchises in one sentence. The town of Northwood hereby grants the request of MetroCast Cablevision of New Hampshire LLC to assign its franchise within the town of Northwood. Town of New Hampton? That's not.
No,
Does it say Town of New Hampton?
Yeah, it
does.
does.
Does say Town of New Hampton, but I'm gonna say Town of Northwood to Atlantic Broadband New Hampshire Dash Main LLC. This resolution is effective upon adoption, signed by the Northwood Board of Selectmen, the 26th day of September 2017. So obviously, I'll sign this, but this needs to be
Yeah,
changed.
but cross it out and then initial right by it.
Second. Any more discussion? Joe, you have any comments?
No, sir.
I'm good.
Seeing no discussion, I'll call for the vote.
Aye.
Motion passes 2-0.
Do you want this back? Or do you want to
Yeah,
keep
but-
it?
See you in it.
That's a lot of franchises in one sentence.
I know it. There's a 4 or 5 of them. This can go too, that was their verdict of it.
Okay, this is the contract to finish up the year with Stratford Regional Planning. It runs from October 1st to December 31st. We have 2 copies that need signed.
We gotta sign them both.
Yes, please. I think it might only be Rick signing
All
that.
right, this is
Pay our planner.
motion to enter into the final, this be the final term for this
Last 6
year?
months.
With the Stratford Regional Planning Commission, and time of period will be October 1st, 2017, and ending December 31st, 2017.
I'll second that for discussion.
Now, does that mean in December we rebid, or we stay with the same people generally?
We've stayed with Stratford, they're our regional planning, so yeah. We're doing this now because the contract ended and we got that new planner, yeah, so.
I actually have to amend my motion. This is to allow Rick to sign on behalf of the Board of Selectmen with all that other stuff before.
All in favor?
Aye, you can sign it.
All right, I will. I won't vote on it though.
Huh?
So should I vote on it?
Yeah. What else you got?
We got Mr. Jeff Earls to sign the assessing contract. We just need the Board of Selectmen to, I'll put the date on it. That's, the assessing contract was,
Motion for that, do we? All we gotta do is sign it?
I think you guys accepted it, but I would like a motion.
Motion to what? Sign it, or a motion to accept it again?
Accept the contract with Cross Country
I'll make a motion
appraisal.
to accept the contract from, there's a name on here somewhere?
Yeah. Cross-country appraisal?
Cross Country Appraisal Group LLC. Starting, would that be the first of the year?
Yes, January 1 is...
Starting January 1, 2018?
Yep.
And do you need me to tell you how long is that contract for?
That's a 3-year contract?
Okay, so that'll be a 3-year contract, so it will end in 2021,
Yes.
January 1st, 2021.
Second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And last thing, Mr. John Boudreau would like to join the Recreation Committee. His email is attached. Let me put the date on this one, too.
I just got a real quick question. This is along the lines of the same one with Hal. Is he just doing too much? Is he gonna stretch himself too thin with being a dog catcher and all the other stuff he's got going on? I mean, I'm not against him serving. It's just a question.
I think his wife is on the committee. I think they just want to kind of do it together, and they need the help.
That's the other thing.
I think it's a conflict
I get
to
kind of
have
nervous
a
with
husband
that
and
too.
wife on the committee.
Not that I hate saying no, but I get nervous with that too. Because they're always going to vote the same direction, I would assume. But that doesn't always mean it will be. But it's just my opinion. But I'm okay with it if he wants to. I'm
I
not
don't
gonna-
like seeing
Huh?
2 family members on the committee.
Ultimately, we have the final say. So I mean, I kind of agree with you, but if we do it for this committee, we're gonna have to do it for, there's a couple other ones that have a husband and wife on it too.
The only other one is
Recycling committee has one.
recycling.
So,
And we
Oh,
know
yeah.
what it leads to.
I'm at the point where it's a tough one, because every time we say no to someone, we end up getting awful.
That's our
review.
prerogative.
I know. But I'm okay with it.
So if I say no and you say yes,
Then it goes nowhere.
it goes nowhere, so
I mean,
what do you want to do?
my biggest concern was he had a lot going on with the dog, being a dog catcher. He seems to be really involved with that, which is nice.
Fire
It's something-
department.
It's something that we haven't had in a long time. There's a dog catcher that's actually involved.
Yeah.
And I'll give him tons of credit. He's fully involved in that. The fire department thing too. It was just a question if he was going to stretch himself too thin. I wasn't overly concerned with the husband and wife thing. I have those same concerns, but it wasn't going to deter my vote. I'm going to vote yes, so it's really up to you.
I'm going to vote no.
Okay, then we'll just wait for Scott then. Send it back.
And guys, that's all I have for you.
Okay.
I would like to let everybody know and let the selectmen know that we did start taking credit cards down at the transfer station.
That's good.
Yeah, so Joey's down there. He ran his first card on Monday.
It's good. It's good to hear.
Yeah, and Peter Elliott, he became a Rhodes Scholar. He's taken enough classes down at UNH, so now he's moving his way up in that. And that's all I have for you today.
I just have one individual selectman report, and this touches on the transfer station. I've noticed that they've been putting chairs and couches up at the swap shop. Now, I understand we're trying to get these out of the furniture, and I'm not saying that they're not good pieces of furniture, but if they're leaving them outside, it's kind of defeating the purpose. Maybe a suggestion would be, if we're going to keep them out, maybe keep them by the container for a while, and then if nobody takes them, throw them in the container.
Yep.
And then my other question is if we're doing that, what are we doing with the money that people are paying for those if somebody takes it?
I don't think they're charging, if they leave them, in the past, they weren't charging if they left them.
I get where you're going, and I'm not against that, but then, so for instance,
Like, I was in there on Wednesday and it was raining, and they were nice couches. I'm not gonna deny that they were nice chairs. But it was raining, so they were sitting outside, and then obviously nobody's gonna take them, so they didn't charge those people, which I'm not saying is the right or the wrong thing to do, because they're hoping somebody takes it. But then nobody takes it, then the town's kinda on the hook. I know we're paying for that anyways out of the taxes. It's just one of those really tough things to decide.
Yeah, it is.
The problem is, everybody's gonna wanna go that route. They're gonna wanna put their couch or their chair there.
You're gonna get into
for
that gray,
someone
you're
to
gonna get
take.
into that gray area where somebody's gonna be like, oh, that chair's really nice, and as the attendant, you're gonna be like, no, nobody's gonna take that, but then you're gonna get into that argument, oh, you let this guy do it.
Yep.
So it's just one of those things we gotta keep an eye on, that's all.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. I noticed that people have been dropping them up there.
Yeah, I mean, even if we just leave them by the container where it's closer for the attendant to throw it into the container if nobody takes it, I mean, if you're gonna leave it outside, it's actually easier for the attendant to get rid of it if they don't take it, if it's closer to the container that it goes in.
Yep.
Because then they still have to walk it down from that building to where it goes. So it's kind of a convenient thing too.
Yeah. No, I agree 100%.
I think taking furniture is a fine line because of bed bugs and lice, and I saw a box spring and a mattress leaning up there too, and I don't think we should be in the furniture business.
It does say.
That's my opinion.
It does say in their guidelines, small, that a lot of those things aren't supposed to be going in there, so it's a gray area. I mean, I've given away chairs and stuff down there myself when I've worked there, so it's one of those things where I'm not full against it, but I would say leave them down by the container, so that way one person sees, like to your point, somebody sees a box spring and mattress up there, they're gonna think, oh, that's where I'm gonna put it next time. Instead of, if they see it at least down by the container, they're stopping there, that gives you the opportunity to charge them and to decide that it's going in the dumpster. That's just my concern.
And we shouldn't have 4 or 5 sets there at once. They should do 1 or 2 and
1 or
not
2
after
days.
that, till they're gone, no more.
I mean, I look at it a weekend. If they're there longer than, especially when it comes to furniture, a weekend, if nobody's gonna take it in a weekend and it sits out there all week, chances are the weather's gonna get to it and they're not gonna take it.
Yep.
That's just my opinion.
We'll have the guys stay on top of it.
Maybe on furniture only. I mean, as far as the swap shop, they're doing a really good job of keeping it fairly clean, I've noticed, but the bigger items is what concerns me.
I just don't want to get in the habit of everybody not wanting to pay to get rid of their product.
That's my concern too, because that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah. You know how
How are you
it
gonna
is that
draw the
fine
line?
line.
You let one guy do it, and he's gonna say, well, my couch is as good as that, then you're gonna be,
Yep.
I just see it's a problem.
I mean, we used to do the honor
Gonna
code
keep
where we
going.
take the money, and now you could actually do it just as long as they paid with check. You could take the money, and if somebody takes it, you just cancel out the check. You just rip the check, void out the check. I mean, you wouldn't be able to do that with a credit card because it charges automatically. I mean, this was also back when we took cash, but if you did a check, that's perfect. They write a check, you tell the guy when they drop it off, hey, if somebody takes that, we'll void out your check. It doesn't cost them any money. I mean, it's usually $5 one way or the other. Most people, you'd be surprised, they keep an eye on it. They'll come in, they'll ask you, hey, did you get rid of that?
Yeah, cool. That's a good idea. All right.
It's just a thought. That's all I have. That's it. Short and sweet.
You have anything else?
No, that was it.
I have a couple of things. I brought up in the past about dead trees at the town hall. We have some at the library, we have some at the cemetery. We have one down the Lucas Pond that's breaking and falling right over the boat launch area that's been there all summer, and I think there might even be one down to the Bow Lake Beach. I know we're gonna start working down there soon as the water's down, to fix the beach, and I'd like to see these trees taken care of. The ones at the library and the cemetery, I looked at them personally. I think 90% of the trees are on the cemetery property, but I don't know who's gonna make that judgment to see who's gonna pay, or if it makes any difference, who's gonna pay. But the 2 dead trees that are there now that have no leaves and the bark are falling off of, they are on the cemetery property.
Are those the ones behind the chapel?
No. Right off the library parking lot when you come in off of Route 43.
Oh, yes.
Right along the fence there. You and I looked at them
Yep.
back in the summer. I just don't want it to slip away with us where fall's coming quick.
Yep. All right.
Yeah, real quick too. I noticed this today too. Another break-in down at the Meadows actually broke somebody's window
a locked vehicle. Is that something we could put I know it's state, but could we put a sign down there just reminding people to lock their doors and windows? Or is that something we'd have to go through the state to do?
They should know enough to do that.
Yeah, I would think so, but it seems to be like it's almost every other week down there now.
The rec director knows the people that run that park, so I can ask her and see if they can do something.
I just know
Yeah.
it seems like it's happening quite a bit down there.
Yeah, it's tough down there.
It's weird because it's right there on Route 4. You wouldn't think so, but it's crazy. That's all I got. That's it.
All right.
We need anything non-public?
Are you good?
Do we have any non-public?
We do. We have a little bit of non-public tonight.
All righty.
Do one more citizens forum first.
Yep. Citizens forum. Linda?
May I approach the board, please?
Yes.
I have one item that I'd like to bring to your attention tonight, and I'll keep it very brief. I appreciate the fact that the chairman of the Selectmen attends all of our zoning board meetings, and I saw him nod and say, yes, that would be a good idea to bring this tonight, so I'm presenting it to you. Mr. Nalade, one of our full members, has turned in his resignation. The board voted last night to recommend that Pam Sanderson be moved from an alternate to a regular member position. And I'd like to ask you to consider that. One of the things that the zoning board runs into is, just like the planning board, is potential conflicts of interest, or people, such as last night, we had one case that had to be bumped a month because we had one person with a conflict, another person that was ill, and we did not have enough people that they were comfortable that they wanted to go forward with their case. Pam has been serving as an alternate, and she is a voting member. She was last night, participated throughout the meeting. This would allow, by moving her up to the open member position, this would also allow for, at your next meeting or next few meetings, for you to fill the alternate position. So we continue to have a full board. There's been a good interest in people coming forward to fill the slots. So I have the letter from the zoning board. Whoop.
Yeah. We got the whirlwind going here tonight.
Recommending Pam. There's 3 alternates, and they did motion for Pam to be the one to be moved up.
Okay. I'll make a motion to accept.
I was just reading. I didn't quite know.
I don't think he was able to sit with the town attorney, is what he's saying. I'd make a motion to accept Curtis Nyland's letter of resignation with regret as of September 21st, 2017. We'll move on that one, and then we'll do the next one.
Second. I'd like to say thanks to Curtis. He did a good job while he was there, and he's going to be missed. And
hopefully we can
thanks for your
still pick
service.
his brain sometime. Thank you. And aye.
Aye. Motion passes 2-0.
Do you need this, Joe?
No, I don't need that.
All right, and then I'll make a second motion to appoint Pamela Sanderson to a full member instead of an alternate, and starting September 21st, 2017, and expiring March 2020.
Second. Any discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And
Motion
then-
passes 2-0.
Obviously, you can put an ad in the paper if you want, or however you guys,
Okay, we can
for
do
your
that
alternate.
for the alternate.
If you want, I mean, that's up to.
That's up to you
Yeah,
guys.
It's up to you
I think
guys,
Joe
but-
actually received recently another.
If you've already got
request for
somebody in
alternate.
mind and without doing
Yes,
that,
you gave it to me.
Oh, good, okay. I passed it on.
if you got if there's already some people that are in, I mean, it's up to you guys if you want to post it, that's your decision, but if there's people already in line, we can take one of them.
I would just like to thank Pam for coming on the board. I've been attending quite a few of the meetings recently, and I think she's a great asset to the board and a great help with moving forward. Thank you.
Thanks.
Linda?
And one thing, and I will keep this brief as well, I spoke to Joe about this, and he said I needed to speak directly with the board about it. A month or so ago, you spoke about the lunch breaks with the employees, and I would just like you to consider, I understand your position, I think we all understand your position, that each person needs to clock out for the full 30 minutes for their lunch. What I would like to ask is whether or not employees would be allowed any time to be able to sit at their desk during that 30 minutes, as long as they are clocked out and they are not attending to the public and not eating in front of the public. If you have any concern relative to that.
I have no concern. I personally, if they're clocked out and they want to sit at their desk, I'm okay with that.
It's her prerogative, I
If that's their
think.
prerogative. And I'm not even against if they want to help public, I would. I'm not saying.
Well, they can't.
I know,
If they're
but-
on their 30 minutes, they
Right.
cannot.
I understand. I'm okay. I don't have any issue with them eating
I don't
at
have
their
a problem
desk.
with someone sitting at their desk if they want to.
Okay, thank you
No,
very
if you want
much.
to work on something your own, you're on your own time, I don't have a
As
problem
long as
with
they're
it.
clocked out, technically, once you're clocked out, you can do whatever you want anyways. There's really, we can't control. If you want to leave, you can leave. If you want to sit at your desk,
Right.
that's what,
I
that's
just
the way
wanted,
my work
I just
goes.
wanted a confirmation on that. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it, thank you.
That's the way my work goes. You can eat lunch wherever you want.
Well,
All right,
we're going in the-
any more citizens forum?
You all set, Gary? Can you hear me? Yes, I can. Good, all right. I just had a couple of things to say. One is regarding soccer, in the rec department, the way we're doing things now. And really, I apologize, this is not the right venue for this. I probably should have gone to the rec commission or Joe, but I'm here anyway, so I figured I would just say it. So I took some notes because I'm sure I'm going to forget everything that I was going to do. So this year, we've had some issues. I've heard it from parents, I've heard it from coaches and stuff, that we have some issues with some of the soccer situation with the rec department. First off is at the Bull Lake Field, the lines haven't been painted for a long time. I think they maybe were painted once in there, and they're non-existent now. Times we've gone out there to play games, the coaches have to put out cones, those little cones so we can
Right.
see around. And the grass is pretty tall, so if we could, some of this stuff is going to be like things we could do now, like these things, maybe getting those fields lined and the grass mowed. Some of these things are just like for next year to keep in mind.
Is our lawnmower not mowing the way he's supposed to?
No, he's been mowing, but I see he was out mowing today.
Yeah,
so I
the
don't know
lawn,
if
Okay,
he's
so,
been
so
there.
maybe that's a recent thing, so thank you for that.
I'm not saying he's been there, but I
Who's-
saw him around town mowing
Sure.
today.
Who's
He was at the
responsible for
library and
lines?
different places,
Yeah.
so
Okay.
that's a good sign when we normally see him.
Who's
Yeah.
responsible for
So-
painting the lines?
The rec
Rec
department.
director. Rec director and the new,
Yeah. The lines, I mean, this is the Bull Lake fields where I've noticed the most. I think the lines down at the rec fields on Route 4, they also have some issues too, but I think they're a little bit better taken care of than the Bull Lake fields. And we have, I think all of our first and second grade teams play up on the Bull Lake fields, so. The other thing is when the jerseys were bought this year for all the kids, they were bought all the same color. We're all red, which is normally fine, except that we have 3 or 4 teams at certain levels, so they play each other.
And it's
Can't
kinda
see- can't see
hard.
what's what. It's a little tough to see who's who. So going on forward,
Maybe next
Different color jerseys.
Or
different color
reversible?
jerseys per team.
Or reversible, so you can turn them inside out?
Sure, that might be something to think about. Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, you can have like silver one side, red the other, I mean,
Yep.
or whatever, vice
They
versa.
do that for
color.
lacrosse. Yeah, I bet that would work.
Whatever
fine.
colors you want, it's something that way if you played the same team, at least one team could just switch their jersey the other way. Actually, kids actually like that because they can wear it twice and it almost feels like they have 2 jerseys.
We're on the jerseys thing too. None of the jerseys have numbers on them, which makes the officiating a little bit tougher too. To be able to call out things. So having some numbers. I know some of the parents bought some iron-on numbers. So some of the teams have some numbers on there just so they could do that. But having numbers actually printed on there would be a good thing in the future, I think. A safety concern at the Bow Lake fields right now, at the corners of the fields, typically there's flags to show where the corners are for the corner kicks and all that stuff. Right now, they're a pipe in the ground, and then there's just a wooden stake sitting in that, which is incredibly dangerous, actually, because your kid hitting that is going to impale them. I think those things should get pulled out immediately and get some flags in there, hopefully. I mean, at least pull out the wooden stakes. That's not a good situation. in the past when I've coached, I'm not coaching this year unfortunately because I'm too darn busy. I'd love to be, but the coaches were given like kind of kits in the beginning, a bag of balls, some cones, some pennies, for practices and stuff like that. And they got all that, but one thing I think that was really missing this year was that they didn't get first aid kits, and especially ice packs. And you can imagine on a soccer field, those things will come in handy. I know my wife was coaching a team, used our own first aid kit to have in there, but next year or even this year, distributing those. Maybe they're in the shed. Maybe they just didn't get distributed. It could well be. But I'd like to do that. And the only other concern I had was the parking in the rec field. There were some signs up there for parking, and I don't know, people just don't believe that there's not supposed to be parking on that side, so I think they're ignored because it seems like parking on that side is where everybody sits, whereas on the other side there's actually room for parking. Although maybe it's on purpose because I understand maybe you don't want people crossing the street or whatnot. May want to think about that. I think it's being ignored, and I don't know that that's necessarily
We
the right side.
have brought that up, actually.
We had a discussion last week about that,
yeah.
where they posted the left side of the road, now they're starting to park on the side where the picnic tables are too, so.
Right. That's the thing. It's not enough parking up there in the parking
Right,
lot, so
right.
they're going to park on the road somewhere.
And there's a lot of parents that come, we had a conversation about this already, and I don't know if Joe's got it straightened out, but
Yeah.
he was gonna work on it for us, and we
Yeah.
appreciate your thought on that,
Yeah.
because I had noticed that too.
I think we had talked about possibly opening up the gate so
The
they
gate
can park
beyond,
so they can
when there's
park
a game.
further.
Yes,
I know people
baseball
don't
field.
like to park, but,
Sure.
I mean, to walk far, to park, but it's a thought that if we open the gate up, at least they could park
Yeah.
up
Be worth-
farther and it wouldn't jam up the lower area.
Yep, might be worth a shot. I mean, we did that for trunk or treat last year too. So, all right, so that's it. My apologies. Like I said, I could have brought this up to the rec department directly. I just happened to be here.
No.
The only other thing I wanted to mention was the vote on the rec commission, especially the John Boudreau vote. The rec commission right now has 3 people on it. It's supposed to be a 7-person board. I think when we have volunteers from town that want to come in and help out with this, they're not banging down the doors, right? Anyone who wants to come help, I think we should let them help. I think cutting off John and saying he's too busy or he's going to vote for his wife is just a bad idea. I don't think that makes sense. We do need volunteers, and it'd be great to have someone who cares so much to come help. There's real issues with having the rec commission so small. I know they are looking into trying to put a playground up on the between the fields there. Well, to form a nonprofit like that, you need a 5-member board. Like I said, we have 3, and then the board just turned down 1 person today. I think the concerns about John voting along with his wife are overblown, because I don't think they're that similar at all. I know my wife and I, if we were on the same committee or same board, we would not probably be voting together on a great number of things. And I have no doubt that they're the same on that. So I think it was really, I think that was a foolhardy move to deny somebody who wants to volunteer for the town. Until
He hasn't been
until we get
completely
lost.
denied. It will be brought up at the next meeting when there's
I hope it is.
a
Just
3-person board here. And another thing I want to say, we had no idea the rec committee is short on people.
I'd like this. By no means was I trying to say he was going to vote with his wife. That's not my concern. I was worried about him being stretched too thin. But I do see it on another committee that it happens. And I've been sitting on that committee for 1.5 years, and I've never seen them vote against each other. So that leads me to believe that they probably never will. And I'm not saying that they're different. Everybody's everybody's different. I just don't want I don't want them, John or his wife, to get that idea that I'm putting them in that. That's not what I'm saying. It's just, it has happened in the past, so I can understand Rick's concern. That's all I want to say. I don't want anybody to get upset anymore.
Any more than they are.
Good.
Can't make everybody happy.
No, I agree.
Especially all the time.
So that was my best Ginger Goal impression. So.
All right. What do we got? Non-pub. Anybody else? Citizens Forum?
Ah, crap.
It's nothing to do with you.
Oh, good.
Just say whatever you want.
Really?
Yeah, go for it. Mike is yours.
A few months ago, some kids in one of their history or government classes wrote letters to the school board to ask about what it was like to be on the school board and govern the school board and that kind of thing. And I wondered if, as we were talking about trying to think of things to connect the school to the town and that kind of thing, whether or not the board would be interested in linking up with some kids and maybe taking some letters from them and just telling them what it's like to be a voting selectman and the kinds of things that you do and maybe why you wanted to be a selectman, just to make those connections. Just a thought, something to see if you guys were interested. We could bring it up.
I'm always, yeah, that sounds great. It sounds like a good idea. I'm not against it.
It was really interesting to hear what they asked us, actually. They had good questions and.
I think it's a great idea, and another thing that I remember last year, I think Joe had something to do with it. They had an essay contest, and we gave out some prizes, and remember that, Joe?
Yeah, we did.
Maybe it was the year before, but
pictures. Yeah, that was good.
And that was another nice thing we did. Was it an essay contest? Or?
No, they
We
did
a
the pictures.
photo contest.
That's what it was. They drew. That's what it was. It was art.
We didn't do one in 2016. We did it in 2015.
Right.
So maybe we could think of having another
Even
one.
essays, or do some artwork and give out some awards like we did then. And
That was good. That turned out well.
I remember. I think Joe was the one that kind of put that together, along with a business here in town.
Thanks.
Thank
Maybe
you.
we can get some businesses to donate some stuff or as prizes or something.
As a peacetime gave a
Puzzles.
puzzle for every, they took the photos and turned it into a puzzle and handed
Gave it to the
out.
kids.
It was pretty cool.
Great idea. Anybody else?
Any more?
You know what? Come on
Non-public?
up. Come on up.
How you doing? My name is Scott Higgins.
Can you speak into the mic, please?
My name is Scott Higgins, and me and my wife have been having a problem paying the taxes. We had worked out an agreement with you guys, and I'm asking for this month if I could be a few days late, because I just got out of the hospital today from having a massive heart attack, and I need until the 3rd of this month to pay the bill.
Hold on, is this something you want to talk about in non-public,
this
or do
goes in-
you want to take it in?
Yeah, it'd be better in non-public.
Be better
that
to
way.
talk with this in non-public, so no more information I don't want to cut you off.
It's due the 28th, that's why.
That's okay, we can discuss it, if there's no other citizens, anybody else in citizens forum, we can make you the first one in non-public if you want, there's nobody else that needs citizens forum. It's just for your own good, it's
privacy.
just for your own good.
Yeah, I understand.
Anybody else, citizens forum real quick, before we go in non-public? Going once, twice, sold? All right, what do we gotta go under? Just go, Joe.
RSA
91A3:3, 2A, and RSA 91A:3, 2C.
Okay, so motion to go into non-public under RSA 91A:3, 2A and C.
Yes.
Have a good night. Thanks.
Rick, you want to second that?
Second.
Roll call, Donald Hush and I.
Aye.
We are now in non-public.
Public.
I will make a motion to come out of non-public.
I second it.
Donald Hushin, aye.
Aye.
We are now out of non-public.
Make a motion to seal
Make a motion to seal the minutes.
Second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 2-0 to seal the minutes.
Okay, during our non-public, we had to come up with one thing that I need to bring up. I'd like to make a motion to postpone the deeding of the property at map 116 lot 48. This would be 45 Fieri Road. We're gonna postpone it until November 1st.
Second. Any discussion?
I'd just like to add, there's no monetary amount being abated. This is just pushing the deed off, so that's it.
Seeing no more discussion, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion
sign
passes
this?
2-0.
Yeah, would you please check the approved box and then sign it for me? There's a lawyer that's gonna wanna see that one.
And then I'll make a motion to adjourn, unless there's any more business to come in front of the board.
Second.
Roll call, Donald Hush and I.
Aye.
We are now adjourned.
Adjourned.